it's Anson here from Weekend Garage. Today I'll be showing you guys this cool steering wheel that we'll be installing in the Ram 1500. It's a huge upgrade in terms of feel and ergonomics and quality, as you'll be touching it every day when you drive. So this will be an awesome upgrade if you're thinking about it for your vehicle. I've spec'd out a version that fits the Ram Rebel that we have here, and it looks like this. Excuse this branch, that's from the wind. But here we have it. This is the Weekend Garage carbon fiber steering wheel. That's what the packaging looks like. Nice and sturdy, so your wheel will come very protected and brand new. Just check it out. Very nice Japanese carbon fiber weave. Leather steering wrapped with the red stitching and red paint stripe up top to match the interior. If you want to customize your wheel, you can email us on the link provided below. We do sell this exact wheel as well, and customized versions. If you want to specify your own addition to match your interior, we can do everything from having Alcantara right here instead of leather, or different color leather. If you want like white, orange, red, whatever you want, sky's the limit. Or if you want Alcantara that's gray, blue, you know, sky's the limit. If you even want rainbow, we can do that. We can do stitching color. We can do stripe, multiple stripes. You want your name embedded in there. Whatever you can think of, we can do. Feel free to email us for design suggestions or inquiries if you are interested in this wheel for your own Ram 1500. So this edition that we got is the one with the heated steering wheel, because we always like to have the factory settings, especially in a 100K truck. This is Canadian pricing that we're talking. I'm just going to open it for you guys and show you guys how it looks up close and how it compares to the original factory wheel. And I'll be showing you guys how to install this from A to Z, how to remove your existing airbags, trim, wiring harness, if you need to disconnect the battery or not. Everything from A to Z will be answered in this video. And if it's not, once again, you can always hit us up in this email right here or in the description below. Everything is linked. So with our steering wheel, you do not need to send in any core deposits. So whatever you purchase from us, it comes with everything you need, even the core and the heated part. As long as it's customized by you and you show us your address and you spec'd it out, that's all you need. You'll get everything you need to make this work. This is what the wheel looks like in sunlight. Beautiful carbon weave, nice and consistent all the way out. Cured with a nice clear coat that's extremely hard and resistant to UV, so you ain't gotta worry about it there. We've been doing this for a few years already now. We carry it for BMWs, Supras, and now we're taking on Rams as well. So we are not new to this industry. This is what the back looks like, and I'm going to run up some measurements for you guys in case you're wondering how much thicker is this wheel as opposed to your original boring wheel. So on the top part of the wheel, you're looking at essentially 11.5 centimeters. And once again, you do get full product support and warranty with your purchase, and also free shipping all throughout North America. So once again, it's 11.5 for the top part. Just gonna run a measurement on the side here and on the bottom where most people grip their wheel, and then we'll run it on the original wheel and we'll make some comparisons. So for the side grip here, we're looking at 13 centimeters in diameter. So it's nice and ergonomic. If you're used to driving like BMWs and any German sports cars, you know it's nice and thick. It's nice and ergonomic to hold. So it's 13 centimeters as discussed on the side grips here. It's nice and grippy, and it feels very great in hand, even though this is not a sports car, but this feels much better as you're holding it every day as you drive. And now we're going to measure out the bottom, because these 3 points is where most people put their hands when driving. The bottom portion, we're looking at 13 centimeters as well. So there you have it, and that's what the original wheel is measured at. Now I'm going to show you the factory wheel. So after measuring out the new carbon wheel, here we are, original wheel we're looking at 10.5 centimeters, and it was 10.5 over here. At the bottom, we're looking at about 13 centimeters. So these are the measurements. The new wheel feels a lot better in hand. Maybe it's the thumb grips or the carbon fiber all around. But this one, after touching the carbon wheel, this one feels like a chopstick or something. Does not feel good at all. I can't wait to install that wheel in place. So I'm going to show you guys from A to Z how to get this done. Just so you guys know, if you guys do decide to go with Alcantara, the material is directly from Italy. So it's going to be very nice and ergonomic and high quality, which is what you expect when you are going aftermarket from us at our brand. First off, we're going to start with safety. We are going to disconnect the negative terminal and let the car sit for a little bit just to drain any capacitors in the system. So this is just a recommended safe step. It is not mandatory because I have done a lot of airbag work without disconnecting my own battery on many vehicles, and it was all fine. But just for the sake of this video, in case you guys are worried, that's what we'll be doing. So put that away, and we're gonna let the car sit anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes, whatever you feel safe on. I'm gonna try to make this drain faster is just by switching on the headlights, hitting the brake pedal, try to wake up the ECU, and any remaining power in the system, turn on the lights, try to hit all the electronics just to drain any capacitors in the system before we remove this airbag. So once again, 10 to 30 minutes. If you are very worried, you can wait up to even an hour, but I've never heard of anyone's airbag actually exploding without disconnecting the battery, as I've disconnected the full headliner, the whole interior came apart. Without disconnecting the battery, everything was fine. For the sake of safety, and in case, a freak accident happens, this is what we're gonna do. So we'll be back after some time. Okay, so now that you've let the car sit for a bit, we're gonna get our long flathead screwdriver, or Robertson's number 1 or 2, or a pick tool if you want. We've got a Schwaben one, German tool, whatever you guys want to use, but we're gonna go with the Milwaukee flathead long version. You only really need about an inch to reach it. If you're going more than an inch, you're probably going too far. So there's a hole right there below the radio controls. We are gonna put it in. Make sure it's straight. That's the orientation we're at. You guys hear that? So about 1 inch, and we already touched the tab to release the steering wheel. I'm going to show you guys the whole way because a lot of guys just skip this part and magically the wheel comes off. So I'm going to show you guys the struggle. Never taken this wheel off this truck. I'm going to show you guys A to Z. So we're going to need both hands for this. I'm going to show you guys from another angle. So we are situated here and it's sitting on a spring. How you know is if you were to push it, you can feel the spring move. If you don't hit it, you can turn it until your flathead is sitting on that metal spring. Now I'm going to put this phone down and use my other hand to pull on the wheel or the airbag while I press on the tab. So now we're going to push the tab in and pull the wheel out. Just like so. Then we're going to slowly pull out your screwdriver. There we go, as you guys can see. So as you guys just saw, we used minimal effort with this. As we pushed it in, there is a metal tab that will flip open like that. While you're pushing the tab in, you have one hand, you just pull on this, wiggle it slowly, and it'll pop out. You can hear a click, as I've just showed you guys. Now we're gonna do the same for the other side. So grab your screwdriver, find the hole, which is right there. I feel like it's easier if the flathead is facing this way, parallel to the wheel, before you place it in. And once again, if you're going farther than an inch, you are probably headed too far. So I'm going to put this down because I need this hand to pull on the right side of the airbag as I push this in. So I'm going to go till it doesn't go anymore, right there. So this is where I need to start pushing and pulling this wheel. There we go. So you just have to be persistent with this. You don't need brute force, as you can see. So the issue why mine took a little more time than usual is once I released the left side, I pulled it out too much. So this was actually pressing right against down here, as opposed to being flat and being able to come straight out. So a tip I have for you guys is just wiggle it around, try to push the left side down if it's popping up too much and sitting on your trim like so. You can just press it down a bit like I've shown you guys, and just take your time. Feel where the spring is while applying nice and even pressure all around the airbag cover while you have the spring engaged and pushed in. Once I take this out, I'm going to show you guys in detail again how that spring mechanism works. Okay, so to take this airbag cover off, once you have the screwdriver in there, you want it facing this way, not this way. You want it facing this way. This is the depth we're going to do, so about 1 inch inside. And then when you push it, it will be guided into this channel right here. Do you guys see that metal tab right there? When you guys push it in with the screwdriver, this is going to be the orientation. Screwdriver into this tab. When you push it in and pull out, it will eject from the holder. Let me show you guys what it looks like once again. So when you guys put the screwdriver through this hole, I'm going to take this out. When you guys put it through that hole, you are looking for this point right here. If your screwdriver was facing this way, you would just slip over it and you'd start poking something random. So like I was saying, have your screwdriver face this way so you can hit this silver piece. Once you hit the silver piece, this is what you want to do. Like that. But don't slip because I'm holding the camera with one hand. So you're going to push it down like that. Push it down like that. All the way. So as you push it down far enough and you pull, it'll come out of the holder. And it's the same for both sides. As you saw earlier, there was a little bit of a struggle once the angle was created. Once one side was really out and the other wasn't. So if you press it down a little bit and wiggle it around, it'll come out fairly easily. As you can see, the mechanism for this, there's no tricks. It's literally push the spring and it comes right out. So once you pull the top off, that's what it looks like. We are going to start disconnecting the cables. So now we got the airbag off. I'm going to flip it around. And we're going to disconnect all these cables. For the yellow ones, this is how you do it. You either get your screwdriver or your pick tool, and we've just got to push these red tabs up. It's usually easier, but I'm trying to make it visible for the camera angle so you guys can see as well. But it goes in here and it pushes up. So this is going to be a close-up of how to remove these connectors. You're going to put your pick tool like so. Right in this part. Just got to get leverage. There you go. Once it pops up like that, the whole connector can come off. And then we're gonna do the same for the last one right here. Excuse the clumsiness. I'm holding the camera with one hand while navigating the pick with the other. So that's how you remove these red tabs. After you pull the red tab up, all you have to do is grab on the yellow connector and wiggle it left and right, like so, and it comes right out. So left, right, just pull it out like this, and it comes right out. So if I can do it with one hand while holding a camera and having this resting on the wheel, then you guys can do it with two hands with no problems with this guide playing in the back. So I think they're all color coded, so you ain't got to worry about plugging in the wrong connector in the wrong hole. See, yellow is on yellow, blue is on blue, and who knows what color this one is. There are 3 of these. This one's black. So we're gonna need a trim tool as well to pop this off. And there is, I believe, another connector up top here, grabbing the 2 sides and pulling up. There's no release tabs. This literally just goes straight up and down. And then one final connector, the ground right here. Actually, there's 2 grounds, one here and one down there. These ones just shift down. There we go. Now they have all been released. All the connectors. The only thing remaining is popping off the wiring harness clip. So electronically, everything's been released. I put a glove here just to prevent any scratching on the trim. You can put a towel or not, depends if you care about your trim. I just like to be sure. So that is where we're going to pry off the quick connector. So this tool is what we're going to use to remove this harness. We sell these as well. It's a very good quality, as you can see. Effortless. And not only is it effortless, nothing is broken on any of the clips that we do. We sell this clip on our website. It comes in a whole bundle with all the wire trim tool pieces that you need to remove any trim pieces on your vehicle. It is priced very competitively, actually. You can check everything out on our website, linked right here and in the description below. It has everything you need to work on your vehicle, interior, trim pieces and such. It's good to have around the house as well. So we're going to put this aside. Grab our wheel and put this aside. I think this is like 700 bucks, so don't damage it and put it somewhere safe. So next up, looking into the wheel, we're going to disconnect a black connector. I'm going to do a close-up for you guys as well, just so no detail is missed. So I just showed you guys how to release this black quick disconnect right here. That's by pressing in this connector. On the white one, there's actually a secret on how to release this. You would think it's by pressing this right here, but it's not. This is what you need to do. We're going to grab our pick tool or our flathead. In this case, I'm going to use a pick tool just for demo purposes. If you look deep here, let me get this out of the way to show you guys. So we are looking at that down there. What you got to do is grab your pick tool and press that white part in. You guys see that? That click? Now, right there. That is how you release this connector without damaging it. Once again, right there. We put a pick tool. Quick release is done. Put Put your tool aside, 2 fingers, hold towards you, boom, done. You would think it's this one right here, but you would not be able to release it right there because it attaches to nothing. It's the white one I just showed you, right there. So now everything is disconnected. We're going to remove this nut right here. So we're going to be using an impact for this portion. This is the size, 15/16 of a socket. I'm going to be using a impact driver because if you were to use a ratchet, the whole wheel will torque. I don't want to ruin the clock spring, so I'm just going to have the impact do the hard work. If you have a bigger impact, that'll be better. I've only got a 3/8 right now, so this is what we're going to do. There we go. The nut is now out. Comes out pretty easily. It's got blue thread locker in it, so be careful. Put this somewhere safe. You do not want to lose this. I'm putting it right up here, right above the radio where there's a holder for it. As you can see, it comes out fairly straightforward. So, now that you've released that single bolt in the middle, right there, you don't have to worry about the orientation of putting it back because there is a marking on the new wheel and on the existing spline. There is a marking for you to match it up, and there's a big tab I can show you guys after. There's no way to put it in wrong. So this is what happens when you pull it out. Feed all the wires through. Take your time. Nothing you need to do here is by brute force, as you've seen what we've done. Everything fits perfectly. You don't need to crank or yank or do anything crazy here. So we're going to let that be. Now I'm going to show you guys how to disconnect and transfer the trim from this one over to the new wheel. So now that you've removed the steering wheel from the vehicle, as you've seen step by step, this is what you should be left with. Now we're going to grab our T20 Torx screw right there. We're going to release 4 Torx screws. One on the top right. Put that somewhere safe. Top left. Take that out. And then bottom right down here. And bottom left. Once you take out those 4, the front is now ready. Now we're going to flip it around. You can have a foam piece or a pad on a desk. I've just got on foam so it doesn't get scratched. Next we're going to pop off this piece right here. As you can see, it came out extremely easy with the right tools. No force is required. Put this somewhere safe. Grab your T20. Now that's loose. Now we're going to do the same for the opposite side. Get your pick tool, put it in the hole. There you go. Peel it upwards and it comes right out. Get your Torx. That is now out. Now we're going to turn the wheel around. And then you can slowly work this bracket out from its original position. I'm going to disconnect everything here. So in order to release this back piece, you have to work your way around the edge and release the cable from this piece, like so. And I do the same for the left side. As you can see, you just put your finger and you push the yellow or the orange cables down. It's just hooked on these quick connect clips on either side. This one we're going to install on the new wheel. These two are the heated steering wheel wires, so we're going to disconnect them because our new wheel has it as well. There we go. Just got to put a flathead and twist, as you can see, and it comes right out. No brute force required, as with anything that is engineered here. If you're finding yourself using brute force, you're probably doing it wrong. So as long as the orange cable is not wrapped on the core on the bottom there, you can slowly pull it up. We've actually got another black cable to disconnect down here that's hidden. That's for the cruise control. There we go. After you get rid of that, now we're going to do the radio controls, which is right here. We get our pick tool. Press that down. Let's get back to this one. We will try the other side first. Usually it's easier. It's just I'm working behind the camera here. Very hard to navigate around. So to disconnect this one, all you got to do is press this little tab down right here. Let me show you with a pick. This is where the tab is. Once you press on it, you can pull it out. And I'm assuming it's the same for the opposite side. Yep, it was exactly the same. You just gotta press on the tab and pull it right out. So as you guys saw the sequence, how everything comes out, it's fairly straightforward. Now you're gonna push it through, just like what I did there. And this wheel can be put somewhere safe. You can either sell it to recoup your money or keep it around so you can put it back when you sell the truck and you sell off the wheel so you get your money back. These wheels hold their value quite well. Now I'm going to put a wheel aside. These are the two controls, and then so now we will be installing the trim onto the new steering wheel. So we're just working backwards here. Flip it around. Grab your piece. This one is backwards. This is now installed, and now we're going to do the other side. Now we're going to grab our middle trim piece and wiring harness. First off, we're going to connect these two cables for the radio switches that we disconnected last. Make sure you hear a click once you connect it. Last thing you want is for it not to work once everything's installed back. But if you take your time, that won't be an issue. Now we're going to take the protective covering off. And we're going to route the cables so nothing is getting squished. Everything fits perfectly. You don't need to force anything. Now we're going to wire up the back. First off being the cruise control. After that's done, now we're going to do the heated steering wheel. There will be two sides to this, and it quick connects right back into place. You heard the click. Now we're going to do the same for the other side. It only goes in one way, so there's no way to reverse the polarity. Just got to wiggle it a little bit, make sure the prongs are in the right location. There you go, nice and satisfying click. Now we're going to put that out of the way. And then we are almost ready to put this back trim piece on and clip the wiring back onto where we had earlier. So just take some time to move the wires around and put in the correct location so it won't get clipped when you are putting everything back together. So now we're just putting the wires back in the wiring harness. You can do it by just putting two fingers in. Everything is fitting nice and snug. Just do a check, make sure no wires are getting clipped in the wrong place. I am fairly happy with the current location. So now we're going to start to put the screws back on. So I'm going to clip the side pieces on here. Once you work your way around, I'm going to grab our screws. And then we're actually going to install it back by hand. We will use the We'll do this side first. We're going to install the screw back. That is good. Now for this side. Now that's pretty tight. I'm going to finish it off by hand. Don't over tighten it. And turn it around to check how it's looking on the other side. Make sure no wires are getting crimped. Test out all the buttons. So the left side feels a little too tight. You can tell because the button's kind of sticky. I'm just going to loosen it up a little bit. Alright, I'm pretty happy with how the buttons click now. I'm going to flip it back around. So what happens when you do it too tight is the buttons might be kind of sticky. So once you loosen it up, everything will be back to normal and the trim is still tight. Next up, we will be doing the 4 screws in the middle. Make sure no wires are getting clipped. Take your time with this, as this is a crucial part of the system. It's coming together quite nicely. Hand tight is good enough. You don't want to crack this trim. And then now we're doing the bottom right and left. This is the final screw on the bottom left. So just go around and check the tightness on all 4 screws. Alright, so once you have everything installed, this is what it looks like. There are no gaps on any of the trim pieces. Looking beautiful. Can't wait to put it back in the vehicle, but just double check it's not crimping any wires, so nothing will get damaged. That's just wrapping around. That's still good. Heated wiring is plugged in both sides. And then we are now going to turn it around. Put this piece back. And grab this piece and just press it back. These 2 parts right here that has a void in it, that's for the paddle shifters for the GT or the TRX model. I'm doing a retrofit probably down the road, so I have one that has left this void open for my paddle shifters. If you guys don't have paddle shifters, specify in your order or your trim level and we will get the correct one shipped to you. Also, everything can be customized like I mentioned. We can have forged carbon, regular carbon, whatever weave you guys want. Alcantara from Italy. If you guys even want to put cloth on it, sky's the limit. Now we're going to put this back in the vehicle. Okay, so now we're putting everything back together. If you look at the wheel on the dead center, there's actually a metal tab here. There's a big one. There's a big tab here and a small tab. It will line up with the original steering wheel spring, so you ain't got to worry there. So what we're going to do now is feed the airbag wires to the right connector. Just like so. It's quite a small channel you got to feed it through, so take your time. And then next up, we are going to line it up like so. Now it's in place and straightened out. Once again, you don't have to worry about it not lining up with the OEM spline, because with the big metal on top and the smaller one on the bottom, it will automatically line up, or else the wheel does not even fit in there. So just wiggle it a little bit. Make sure it's situated before we put the nut back on. Now grab your steering wheel nut. And then first off, we're going to hand thread it down. And the thread locker will make it seem like you're stripping it, but in reality you're not. So we're going to start off with a hand ratchet. or in this case, just by hand. And then I'm just going to use the impact. On low setting. This is actually spec'd for 33 pound-feet of torque. If you guys want to actually torque it down to spec, this is 33 foot-pounds. We're going with the hand torque here. There we go. I'm sure that is at least 33 because I can see the depth of the nut, and also I remember the marking on the red used to be right here, so I'm actually a little bit over 33, but that's good because this wheel ain't going nowhere as it is super high quality, so I'm sure I do not need to take it off. Beautiful. Now we're going to test the buttons. Everything is nice. And then now we will be plugging in the main connectors and the airbag portion. So there's two wires here. We're actually going to tuck the heated steering wheel wires onto the bottom. Then we're going to plug in the black cable. Nice and satisfying click. And the white cable. There we go. Now we will grab our steering wheel, or our airbag, sorry. We actually didn't need to disconnect these two grounds earlier, so I'm just going to put it back. So, before we do anything, we will be, let's see. So before you actually put this back, you have to reset the springs on your airbag, as it will clip into place as you push it down right here. So to reset it, to reset your springs before you plug the cables back in, you got to make sure it's in this orientation, because when you clip it down, this is at an angle, and it'll push the spring and clip behind the steering wheel core here. Once you've reset it and it looks like this, that's the right side, and this is the left side. Once they're in the uniform position, we are good to plug in the wires back. Now we hope that this doesn't blow up in our face. Now that we are ready to plug this back in, you just gotta say a prayer before you plug it in so it doesn't blow up in your face. I'm just kidding. It shouldn't blow up in your face if you've done everything as shown. So So 2 connectors, now the final one. And then you push in the red lock. Nothing went boom. Everybody's happy. Make sure when you're putting it back, the wires in the back aren't crimped or are prone to damage. After that, you just got to press it in with uniform pressure on both sides. So if it didn't go in the first time, I'm going to make sure the wires aren't blocking it. Once again, uniform pressure. Actually, there's one more connector that we missed. So after you put the 3 on the wheel, there's another top cable right here. That's your horn. I'm not going to do a close-up for you guys on this one. It's pretty straightforward. It's only one cable. There you go. So once you reset the springs, you can hear it'll click right into place. Just give it a little wiggle, up, down, left, right, shift it around. Make sure it's looking nice and in place. Check both sides, the lines are even. Nothing is out of place. Trim pieces are nice and tight. And this should be it. Now we're gonna put the battery back on and see how this looks in the daytime. So So this is what the brand new wheel looks like. Look how boring the old wheel is. Look at that difference. Thin and feels cheap. It's not even perforated properly. Look at the new one. Much more premium. Once again, side by side. Alright everyone, so as you can see with the power back on, everything comes on properly. There's no errors at all, no airbag explosion or troubles with this install. As I showed you guys from start to finish, it takes about an hour or less. Even with full recording and using a hand and setting up the cameras, it took me about an hour or less to do this. It's fairly straightforward. If you guys got any questions regarding customizing a wheel for your Ram or during install, you can email us or visit our website, linked in the description of this video below. Let me know if you guys have any questions. You know where to reach us. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.